Hey, let's talk about Bitcoin because you're smarter than I am. And I was, eToro did this group chat yesterday type thing. I can't remember exactly what they called it, but it was really cool because I got to get on there, and there's a few people on there who I like. I always search Bitcoin Twitter, and just I don't follow them, but I pay attention to them, and I got to kind of chat with some of the people who I follow on Twitter. So that was really cool, and I got to hear a lot of good opinions. So obviously, I'd like to hear your opinion because everyone has one on why the price is not rapidly rising at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a liquidity crisis, right? Meaning that everyone wants dollars. And so every asset is going to get sold off, whether it's stocks, commodities, Bitcoin, whatever it is, and people want dollars. But as soon as that liquidity crisis ends, either because there's a flood of dollars that enter the market through intervention from the government, or people realize, wait a minute, I don't need as many dollars as I previously thought. I can now go buy other assets. You'll see those prices stabilize and ultimately recover. And so the beauty of all of this is if you understand how money works, you don't get shaken out when the liquidity crisis happens, right? If you can kind of weather the storm and hold your assets, but also if you've got cash, kind of cash is king, right? And he who has the cash makes the rules in the liquidity crisis.
Yeah. I bought a couple more Bitcoin at 5,000 when it dropped down there. I thought that was a good idea. I thought that was a really, really nice price, and I never thought I'd get some at that price. That being said, you know what? As I search Bitcoin Twitter, I feel maybe more nervousness than I've ever felt from that crowd. And obviously, when you search that, you're going to get all kinds of responses all over the board. You're going to have 27 people saying the price is going to 30,000 tomorrow. You have 27 people say price is going to 9,000 tomorrow. It's like people are all over the board, but there is not everybody, but there's a certain amount of people who are nervous and I believe you said this also, but it's like this is the perfect storm for Bitcoin. So either it's going to make it or it's not. Either it's going to prove that it is this safe haven asset and it's better than the USD, or it's not. And we're going to probably find that out within the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so I kind of believe some of that, but some of it I disagree with. And so the way I look at it is it's definitely the perfect storm, right? You've got a quantitative easing, you got the Bitcoin halving, all this stuff. With that said, I don't think it'll happen in 3 to 6 months. I think it's more of like a 18 to 24 month time frame. And I don't necessarily think that if Bitcoin doesn't materially increase in US dollar value in that time frame, that Bitcoin's done. Right. Like, I don't think that it'll go away. I don't think that it will be, kind of not secure, et cetera. What I think is people will have to go back and revisit what the thesis for the asset is. Right. Because that wouldn't serve kind of this idea that the having an inflation hedge asset, et cetera, proved to be true. I'm still in the camp where I believe that pretty strongly, voting with my dollars that way and kind of converting them to Bitcoin, et cetera. But, we'll see what happens over the next 2 years, give or take.
Yeah, the other thing that I find interesting that they don't ever bring up on Bitcoin Twitter. A lot of people bring up that the U.S. is going to print $6 trillion, but no one brings up the fact that Bitcoin is it's a worldwide asset, and the number that all of the central banks across the world is going to print is way, 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 way more than $6 trillion. I mean, I don't want to say every central bank is going to start printing money, but a lot of them are. And so the number is going to be, double that, triple that. So there's going to be all this extra money floating around that could find its way into Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's this guy, Brent Johnson, that I recently brought on the podcast. He runs something called Santiago Capital, and he's got this theory that he calls the dollar milkshake theory. And it's this whole idea of everyone around the world, the central banks are making a milkshake. What they're doing is they're injecting liquidity into the market. They're printing money, right? And they're injecting it into the market. But only one country gets to have the straw to drink the milkshake. And he says that's the United States with the US dollar, because everyone wants dollars. So everyone's injecting liquidity in, and the U.S. is sucking that liquidity out by bringing it all into the dollar. And so the reason why he believes that is he thinks the dollar will get much stronger, et cetera. But if you kind of take that example a little bit further, you get this idea of, look at the Australian dollar. the Australian dollar has fallen like 30, 40, 50% in the last couple of weeks against the US dollar. So all of a sudden, if you're in Australia, it's not so much that you want to just get out of the Australian dollar. You either want to get US dollars or get Bitcoin. Well, a lot of times Bitcoin is going to be more accessible than getting US dollars. And so I think that you're right in that, like on a global basis, there will be more demand for the asset as you see those currencies being devalued.